Hello, I'm Paul Mount, and welcome to my world of stuff. Chaos Walking is directed by Doug Liman from a script by Christopher Ford and Patrick Ness. It stars Tom Holland, Daisy Ridley, and Mads Mikkelsen, and it's based on Patrick Ness's young adult Chaos Walking trilogy. Unfortunately, having seen the film, which has just been released on streaming services here in the UK, I think it's more a case of tedium viewing. It's an odd film. $100 million budget seems to be attached to this film, but you're frankly hard-pressed to see it on the screen. It had a difficult route to the screen, to be fair. The script passed through many hands, including at one point the auteur Charlie Kaufman. What on earth he made of this, we will probably never know. And eventually, when it came to the screen, it didn't test well. It had to be rewritten and lots of new filming done and reshoots, and it all shows in a film which doesn't come to life. There's some interesting ideas. It's a stew of sort of vaguely interesting science fiction ideas and concepts, but I think the core concept is one that's very hard to bring with any believability to the screen. And the core idea is that on a planet called New World, that's an imaginative name, a sort of a colony of humans are trying to survive on this very pleasant pastoral planet, but they've discovered that there's something on the planet which only affects the male population, and all men, their thoughts become visualized. So whatever they're thinking becomes an image that appears around their head. It's all very well and good. That sounds like a good idea, but is the sort of thing which I'm sure works better on the printed page. And I've not read the novel, so I can't make the comparison. But trying to depict people's thoughts on screen is hella difficult, and the film doesn't really get around it because you keep seeing these vague puffs of smoke and images of things that they're vaguely thinking about, but most of the time it just looks like they've got steam coming off their heads. Sometimes you can see their thoughts, sometimes you can't, and bearing in mind that we're thinking all the time, you'd expect this haze of images to be around their heads all the time, but a lot of the time they're not. And I think the film tries hard to work around that concept and make it work, but the fact that that's the underlying concept and it doesn't work visually, I think really does the film no favours. On the planet, there are no women. Apparently this strange effect doesn't affect women anyway, but all the women have been killed in a devastating war with the inhabitants of the planet, who are creatures called the Spackle. Now, don't laugh, it's not fair. They're called the Spackle. Yes, I know. The creatures called the Spackle. We only see a quick glimpse of them in the film, and they look okay. They're sort of a bit like that sort of black, grey, spindly sort of alien thing that you might see in something like A Quiet Place, that sort of alien lizardy type thing. Anyway, the Spackle, stop it. They're ostensibly at war with the humans that they don't want on the planet, but as the film progresses, a spaceship, a capsule, crashes on the planet, and Tom Holland's character, who is called Todd Hewitt. Sorry, I had to look it up. I remembered it, but I had to look it up. He's Todd Hewitt. He's never seen a girl. He's never seen a woman. It must be a very strange lifestyle. Anyway, he investigates the crash, and he comes across a survivor whose name is Viola Eade. She's played by Daisy Ridley, Rey of Star Wars fame, who doesn't react with any particular surprise at landing on this planet and finding these people who can visualise their thoughts. It all seems to sort of it doesn't seem to faze her particularly. She's captured by the tribe, or the villagers, who treat her with suspicion, but one of them uses an alien, not an alien, but a futuristic gadget that means that she escapes. Tom Holland's character chases after her, and the whole film becomes a sort of a chase, really, with the villagers trying to capture her and him. There's a preacher played by David Olayeo, who's a bit sort of hysterical, and he thinks that he's got this sort of religious fanaticism about him. But the film is something and nothing, mainly nothing. Nothing of any interest happens, as I said, despite the rewrites and the reshoots, which obviously added to the cost of the thing. It doesn't look like $100 million movie. It looks like one of those tedious episodes of The Walking Dead where everybody's trudging around a forest waiting for zombies to jump out on them. There's no real sense of excitement. There's no real action set pieces as such. There's one bit in a sort of fast-flowing rapids, which is vaguely interesting, but there's no life to it. There's no particular chemistry between Tom Holland and Daisy Ridley. Both good performers in their own right. I mean, Tom Holland is the best Spider-Man, and I'll take on anybody who disagrees with that, but he's the best Spider-Man we've had on screen. But his particular charm and charisma doesn't really translate to this character, who seems quite bland, a bit dull. Ultimately, as the story rattles on, he's trying to help Viola get to this sort of transmitting station where she can get a message to the spaceship, an approaching spaceship which is full of other colonists who are planning to come to the planet to settle down. She's going to try and ward them off because it doesn't seem like a suitable place to land. They get there and they find that the thing is broken, and Tom Holland's character tries to fix it, and really nothing much of any particular interest occurs. It's a shame because, as I say, it's a good cast. It's the core idea is actually pretty good, but it doesn't translate to the screen at all. The visuals are very dull. It's a very drab looking film, and as I said, you can't really see the money up on the screen. The fact that it's been reshoots is quite obvious. Scenes, the editing is not great. The scenes jar quite badly, and there's no real flow and narrative drive to it. So it's a huge disappointment. I mean, I'd read some pre-reviews and they weren't particularly positive, but I always like to sort of give these things a chance. But there is very little life in this film, unfortunately, and I really can't say I would recommend it even if you've got absolutely nothing else to do. Find something else to do. So because of that, because it's not a very good film, I'm going to give it just 3 out of 10. I'm really sorry, and that's for effort more than anything else. Chaos Walking is available on streaming services now. It's on Amazon Prime and various other services. If you want to have a look, please do, but you want to be careful where you're walking. I'll see you soon, kids. And of course, if you've enjoyed this video content and anything else you've seen on this channel, please like, please subscribe, leave a comment, and I will see you soon. Oh, and the dog dies too.